We're coming up to this downhill part of Appin motocross track, and it's definitely the steepest part of the track. And you'll see in the racing footage tomorrow, this is where some of the biggest battles go on at this place. It's a really gnarly, fast downhill section of track. It gets bumpy. Down the bottom, you ends up getting really rutted out and some massive braking bumps down into that right-hander. And if you look back up the hill, you can see off that last drop-off, sort of around this area is where it's make or break for this section of track. Guys are going to be landing off there, braking really hard, and you can see the dirt. It's really ripped deep. It's got a fair bit of moisture in it, so that means it's going to form up some really big bumps there. Down on the inside, they've put a little man-made bump in on the inside just to spice things up a little bit. That's going to make things a little bit more equal for the guys that run in wide and sweep across. For the guys that tend to get down the inside. You'll notice tomorrow in the racing, as that outside section into the corner starts to get a little bit rougher, you'll see guys right up on this edge, almost on the grass. They'll run right down here just to try and stay out of any of the bumps that they can, if they just change their line a little bit. The other thing to take notice of here is the technique they use. Everyone will be standing up the whole way down this hill. Because it's a downhill, you'll notice as they get down to the bottom and start to brake, their weight will be over the back of the bike a fair bit, but not too far back that the seat's going to hit them in the bum when they, hit those braking bumps, but definitely standing up. As they get to the corner, you'll see them start to foot peg steer the bike in. They'll all be steering the bike in by using the foot pegs and won't sit down until they've actually hooked up in the first rut that's formed up there. As you can see, this downhill's ended up quite gnarly, and being such a fast downhill section with those couple of drop-offs we spoke about coming down, the guys are landing on the brakes pretty much with the soil that was ripped up. It's very tacky sort of clay here. So as you can see right here, there's some pretty gnarly ruts. There's about 10 or 11 ruts here. It left a lot of options open. You can see Josh Coppins from CDR Yamaha. He was firing right down the left-hand side of the track, basically going around all the ruts, around all the bumps, and opening the corner up into a nice wide flowing corner. Whereas Josh's main competitor, Todd Waters, was heading down the inside of the track. Okay, once again, letting him miss all the bumps. Really nice, smooth braking area, fairly grippy. So Waters could come in there really hard on the brakes and still pull up for the corner. The thing that slowed him down a little bit was this little man-made bump on the inside of the track. That's put there especially to make the racing a lot more even. So Josh was coming in on the outside and Todd was coming right up the inside. So it looked like, watching from front on, it looked like Todd was going to make a pass on Josh, but the little man-made bump equaled things up a little bit. Some of the other options were getting used was Jay Marmont was firing down the middle of the track here, which gave him a smooth run right down. But you can see right here, you got the first part of the decent braking bump. As the bike sort of picks up and lands here, you've got a fairly steep braking bump with rutted edges coming up there. So what that was doing to the front end of Jay's bike was making it twitch a little bit. It's also a high risk of dragging a foot peg through here and possibly blowing a foot off the peg coming down into this corner. So a lot of options to choose from, but the only way to know what the best option is give a few of these ruts a go and a few of these lines a go early in the race, see what works good, see what allows you to flow into the corner properly, and then stick with it and punch out some consistent laps for the rest of the moto.